Hey guys, so for the last couple days, I've been to the movie theater going to see two of the big movies that came out last year. Or not last year, last week. Sorry, goddamn, last week. But before I get into that, I want to talk about the sad news that we got last night. Literally right before I was about to go to the movie theaters, I got the news that George Romero had died. I usually don't talk about celebrity deaths, but this is what I want to talk about. What do you say about George Romero and the impact that he had on fucking horror movies and movies in general? It's one that's gonna be felt for years and still is. I mean, a lot of horror movie directors owe everything to George Romero. There wouldn't, he helped define a horror genre, for fuck's sake. I mean, he invented the zombie movies. Everybody talks about how he invented the zombie movies, which is fucking true. I said on Facebook, he is the most, my opinion, and I want to try to hear the argument against it, is the most influential horror director of all time. I mean, yeah, you could say John Carpenter, you could say Wes Craven, you could say a lot of different people like that, but he came first, in my opinion. So has a big influence over a lot of people. I was loving to see all the comments from people like Rob Zombie, John Carpenter, Eli Roth, people that owe their careers, and even Edgar Wright owe their careers to someone like George Romero. And it sucks that we lost him. I didn't even know he was sick. I was a shock. Like, apparently he had lung cancer, and it pretty much just went to stage 4 very quickly. Man. Oh, man. But, man, that was a shock to find out. And then, literally after I got out of the movie theater, I find out fucking Mark Landau died. That sucks too. I was not as big as a fan, but I loved his work, Martin Landau. But I was devastated by George Romero's death, and I know a lot of people I knew from school that were big fans of George Romero, and I was too. Rest in peace, George. Your work will never fucking be forgotten, man. But getting on to a lighter note. A couple days ago, I did get to see the movie The Big Sick. Now, I said last week that War for the Planet of the Apes was coming out, and I thought that was the only one that I was going to be seeing this week. But then I found out, I was kind of shocked that we were getting The Big Sick, because my movie theater is very unpredictable. What indie movies we get, which ones we don't. So when I found out we were getting it, I was like, sweet. This is a movie I have never gotten advertisements for one bit. I've never seen a trailer for in front of any movie that I go see. But I've seen a lot of advertisements for it, and I've heard the story behind it, and I've heard all the critical acclaim behind it, and it piqued my interest because of that. It sounded interesting. The story sounded interesting. The critical praise got my interest even more in the movie. And, alright, I'm just going to flat out say this right now. This is one of the few times I'll say this about a movie. Go fucking see this movie. Go see it. Don't even have to watch my review. Just go fucking see it. Alright? The Big Sick is easily probably, if not the best film of the year so far. It's one of the top contenders, easily. Fucking easily. If this one's Best Picture, I will not be shocked. Although, I was sitting there thinking, after the movie ended, it's this year we're only in July, and we've already had some pretty strong contenders for Best Picture already. And that's pretty insane. This is another one I would consider. But usually comedies don't get big awards like that, but I'm hoping this is one of the years that changes. I definitely see it at least being nominated. This should get screenplay, at least some screenplay nomination or screenplay awards. That and Baby Driver, honestly, probably are the two top contenders for that. This is such a goddamn good movie. It's such a heartwarming, touching kind of movie, that like feel good movie. I'm not a big fan of romantic comedies, but by God, I love this movie. The two leads in this thing, the Camille, I'm not going to try to say his last name because I'm not even going to try. The stand-up comedian, he's a stand-up comedian who's from Pakistan, and he wrote this story about how he met his wife and the first year of them dating and what it all entailed, all the crap that they went through, as he meets this girl who is a psychology major, and he meets her at a stand-up he does at a local club in Chicago, and she's kind of like a fun little heckler, and they kind of get along, and they start dating, and they have one-night stands, and they start seeing each other more and more and more. But also at the same time, he's got his very Muslim family from Pakistan that believes that he should be given an arranged marriage, and they try to keep setting him up with a different woman, and he just keeps turning them down right and left while he's secretly dating this woman. And it's like this movie is like really, really good because, one, like I said, the chemistry between these two leads was so goddamn great. Both of them are really good in this movie. Both Camille and the young actress that played his girlfriend in this thing. Camille definitely probably should get some Oscar nominations, maybe even for acting, because he was really good in this movie. He showed his acting chops. He's a guy that I see all the time in like backgrounds and like side roles and comedies, but never has been given like a big role like this. But I think that's going to change because of this fucking movie, because his performance in this movie was really good. Like, this is like a breakout performance for me, like the best breakout comedic performance for me since like Amy Schumer and Trainwreck, for fuck's sake. That like broke her out into superstardom. This one though, I think is a lot better, but both of them actually have a lot of similarities in that they are written from real life experiences. Like, even though this seems a little bit more realistic somewhat than Trainwreck was to Amy Schumer's life, because this is really what for the most part happened. And like I said, he's really good in this movie, and the chemistry between the two are fucking fantastic. Ray Romano and Holly Hunter play her parents, who, if you don't know, the girl ends up going into coma, medically induced coma. He has to meet her parents through the situation. And Ray Romano and Holly Hunter are his parents. And Ray Romano plays a great straight man. I've never had a problem with Ray Romano. I was never a big fan of him, but I always thought he was okay. And he's really good in this movie. He's like a great straight man of a guy who's trying to sympathize a little bit with Camille's character, but then you have the opposite with Holly Hunter, who kind of at the beginning does not like him because what he did to their daughter, because she breaks up with him because she finds out he has like all these headshots of all these like potential suitors for arranged marriage, and she freaks out and breaks up with him basically because he can't. He admits he don't know if he could see them having a future because he doesn't want to break up his family, and it's a real problem, I'm sure that a lot of Muslims have to deal with. I can imagine if they have conflicts, like it's frowned upon that they date a Caucasian female or white female, and that they have to marry a Pakistani Muslim woman. And it's like a lot of cultures, really. It's like like it reminded me a lot, like my mom pointed out, like the Amish community. It reminded me of the Greek community. Hell, this is like almost similarly just like My Big Fat Greek Wedding, but this is a lot better than My Big Fat Greek Wedding. I'll say that right now because it feels more realistic. It feels more like, I'll get that in a second with the screenplay, but Ray Romano is great as like the straight man, and then Holly Hunter, she doesn't like him at first because of, like I said, the breakup, but she slowly but surely, she plays a really good bitch like at the beginning of it, but then slowly but surely she kind of grows to like him and sees that he's actually a really good guy, and that he just fucked up. He's realizing he fucked up what he had. It's I guess it's a really goddamn good movie. This is coming from somebody who is not a big fan of romantic comedies. I want to point that out, but this was one of the best romantic comedies I've seen in ages. Like, it's been a long time since I've seen, like, the reason why is because of the fucking screenplay, especially because this feels like real people on screen. It doesn't feel like really horribly scripted Hollywood bullshit that we usually get with fucking romantic comedies, and it helps that this is coming from a real place for this guy writing about how he met his wife. Of course, I'm sure, and I've read some things that like he like that they probably did fabricate a little bit, like the fact that she's in a coma, but when she's in a coma in this movie, it's never really established how long she is in this coma. It feels like a long time, but I watched an interview with Camille and his actual wife, who said it was only like really 8 days, but it feels longer than that with this movie. They don't really establish how long she's in this coma, and it's like I don't know. Like I think some things are a little bit different here and there. Of course, Hollywood changes, but for the most part, it seems like they kept the story true to what really happened as much as they could, which is awesome. Like I said, some of the best stories you could ever make come from real life. I mean, like, you can't make shit up that happens in real life half the time. I've had shit that happens to me I could probably make a great movie about if I wanted to, but yeah. Movie's really fucking funny too. It sounds like it's more of a dramatic film, but it isn't. It isn't. It handles the drama very well. I said Camille's acting is really good towards like the last half of the movie, where he's starting to lose his mind about he might lose his girlfriend and stuff like that, and he realizes he fucked up really badly. Those scenes are great, but like. One scene that really just like I thought was one, like, as soon as I saw it, I was like, you know what? I fucking love this movie. And it's something I never see in a fucking romantic comedy. It's so simple, but I don't ever see something like this in a romantic comedy. There was a scene where the girlfriend's staying at his place, and she's staying the night over his place, and she gets up out of bed and starts like rummaging around the apartment, like acting like a crazy person, running around. And he's like, "What the hell are you doing? It's 1 a.m. What the hell are you doing?" She said, "I want. Is there a diner anywhere around here? Because I want to get some coffee." He's like, "Yeah, there's a diner, but why the fuck you want coffee at 1 a.m?" He's like, I really want coffee right now. I really, really, really want coffee. It's like, have you never dated a person? That's what girls do. They just want coffee. He's like, all right, I'll go with you then. It's like, she's like, no, you can't go with me. He's like, why? Why can't I go with you? She's like, I gotta take a shit. And I busted up laughing. She did not want to, take a shit in his apartment. She was afraid to take a shit in his apartment because he didn't have any air fresheners. And I'm like, you never see that in a movie ever. That's how I feel like when you realize this movie feels more realistic than a lot of romantic comedies, because with a lot of romantic comedies, you pretty much, they don't ever acknowledge women take shits or fart or anything like that. It's like they're just the most perfect women, and and it's like, it felt real. Actually, like, with that one scene, it felt so fucking real, because I think every couple, when they first start dating someone, have that problem. They're too embarrassed to fart or take a shit in front of their, they want to kind of establish, they want to grow a connection first before they, like, I know my sister was that way. I'm sure she would kill me for fucking saying that, but it's the truth. I mean, it's the fucking truth. You're embarrassed to do that. I actually love the fact they put that in this movie. That was a really fucking funny scene. There's a lot of funny scenes in this movie. I don't want to spoil too much about it, so I just highly recommend this movie. It's really good. The strong word of mouth is spot on. This will easily make my top 10 list. Maybe my favorite film of the year. I can't predict that. I'm going back and forth all the time with what is my favorite film of the year so far. It's like I'm all over the place. There's been a lot of good movies so far this year, so I'm like, it's a better year than 2016, definitely. There's been some shitty movies, of course, but there's been a lot of goddamn good movies. So, yeah, I recommend this movie. Go fucking see it. It's a really good movie. It's worth all the hype that you've heard about it. Most people probably have heard about it. As far as trailers, I got a few indie trailers, as I expected. The Glass Castle. It's about a dysfunctional family. I guess it's based off a book that this girl wrote about her childhood in a really dysfunctional, broken home with her parents being really just, like, couldn't get along. They're played by Woody Harrelson and Brie Larson. Woody Harrelson looking like he's going to probably try to get an Oscar. Yay. If he looks like he's, trying to run for an Oscar, I'm all for that. I love Woody Harrelson. It looks all right. It looks like your typical indie kind of movie, but it looks fine. It looked really harmless. American Assassin. This looks like a Jason Bourne-esque, like, movie. Like, this looks like almost like a Jason Bourne knockoff of, like, if I remember, it's been a few days since seeing this trailer. I completely forgot about it. But also at the same time, all I remember is that Michael Keaton is like the protege, or the guy that runs this kind of organization that, or something like that helps this guy. All I remember that Michael Keaton was in it, and I'm like, that looks awesome. From this, I forgot what was this movie about? Hold on, it's been a fucking few days, and I'm like, I barely remember it now. Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, now I remember. It's about a guy who his family got killed by terrorists. It starts out like, it makes it look like it's going to be like a new version of The Punisher. A guy who his family gets killed by terrorists, so he goes from terrorist ring to terrorist ring, like infiltrating them, trying to take them down. And he gets like recognized by the CIA, and they hire him to become an assassin. And he's hired by Michael Keaton, and it looks all right. It actually looks decent. Like, first I was like, is this a fucking Punisher remake? Even though we're getting a TV show and stuff like that, I'm like, all right, it kind of looks kind of awesome. But like, no, it's the Punisher meets Jason Bourne. It kind of looks like, all right, that's weird. And the last trailer I got was the trailer for the new It movie. I'm not a big fan of. I hate to say that because it is not as good as I think people make it out to be. The only reason that movie was awesome as it was because of fucking Tim Curry. Tim Curry stole that movie. I don't care what anybody tells me. It's gonna be hard to replace Tim Curry as Pennywise in the fucking first place, and then you're doing this new remake, and I don't know. It don't look terrible. It just looks like, well, there's a remake of it. That's about it. No pun intended. Well, yeah, there's a remake of it. And I don't know. It might be good. It doesn't look terrible. I mean, there's worse things out there to remake. I mean, it's something, like, I always believe that you can remake something. If you want to remake something that was kind of flawed in the first place, not that great in the first place, and it is something you can improve on, in my opinion. So, we'll see. That's as far as trailers go. I'll be back here in the next few minutes with my other review for the other movie I saw.